Leadership matters, but you know that. Sometimes you and I can make it harder than it needs to be. So let's talk about a small change that you can make that makes a big difference right away. So I'm D. Hicks. Thanks for joining me. This is part of the HILT Academy, High Impact Leadership Training. Let's have some fun thinking about an idea that, well, it's not all that fun to experience, but once you see what's going on with this idea I'd like to share with you, you can use this quite a bit in order to make really, really good decisions and understand where you're coming from and where people are coming from to make sure you accomplish the two things you and I are responsible for accomplishing as leaders or managers or supervisors or influencers of people. We're responsible for accomplishing clarity and alignment. So we had the opportunity to help with a recruitment for some of our friends a little while ago. The recruitment was for a vice president position, and as a kind of a high impact position and one that had required a particular set of skills with respect to Liam Neeson. This particular set of skills was a little bit difficult to find, but we had a few candidates, a few that seemed pretty good on the surface. So we're in the early phases of recruitment and having conversations, video conversations, phone, email back and forth exchanges, narrowing the field. You know how this goes. And so we got the field narrowed to maybe 8 or 7 candidates, something like that. And now it was time to take the next round of interviews. So we did video interviews for that. At the end of this, one of the candidates, let's call him Don, okay? That's not his name. I don't even remember his name now. But for now, let's call him Don. This candidate, we'll call him Don, actually didn't do very well in the last interview. And then we started talking with some folks he'd worked with before about what he was like to work with under pressure and when things didn't go his way. And start getting some bad reports back. Followed up again with a conversation with him and felt like, no, this guy's probably not going to work out. When some of his personality traits were not quite the ones we were looking for, and some of the skills that he said he had were not quite applicable. So you know how it goes. It was time to say to him, call him Don, that he was not going to proceed to the final round of interviews where we would fly everyone in and go through an assessment in person. So our beloved Donnie, sitting right over there, was the one who delivered the news to this guy, who we'll call Don, no relation, right? And Donnie said to him, "Sorry, you're not gonna make it through to the final round." And this guy lit up. He was, "What? You got to be kidding! I'm absolutely amazing," or things like that. I can't believe they would say that about me. I can't believe they would. Well, I don't see how they're going to make it. And he went on and on and on like that. And it was kind of an uncomfortable thing. I was overhearing the conversation. So, Donnie, do you remember what he actually said was kind of his parting shot in an email when we said no to him?
Yeah, he basically said, "It's your loss."
Your loss. That was it. Isn't that a great phrase? Your loss. And we thought, I don't think that phrase means what you think that means. Here's what the deal was. We said no to him. And we got to see who he was because we said no to him. This is the point I want to make in this brief conversation with you. I don't know somebody until I say no to them about something that matters. In fact, if we want to get all existential about it, I probably don't really even know myself all that well until life says no to me. Especially in situations where there isn't an option. There isn't a way around it. There isn't a way out of it. It's just no. Perhaps also in situations where we don't know why no is the answer. When you say no to someone like that, kindly, respectfully, you get to see who they really are. And when life says no to you, you get to see who you really are. So pay attention to these moments or seasons at work or outside of work when there's a big, fat no. It's as though you and I are like big old icebergs. Most of the iceberg is below the water. The observable part is what is presented, if I was an iceberg or you were, to the outside world. It's kind of pretty. It's kind of nice. It's just blue and cold and beautiful looking, and especially in the sunlight. That's the part that everyone sees of us that's above the water. But most of who we are is below the water. And other folks don't get to see it. They can see the result of what's below the water, but they don't get to see us below the water. What's under the water? At the waterline are our disciplines. You don't get to see my disciplines. If you were sitting across from here, you wouldn't see my disciplines. You'd see the result of my disciplines. Maybe if there was a big storm and the water went up and down, maybe you'd capture me at just the right moment when you saw my disciplines. Maybe if we were traveling somewhere together and you saw that I was up at 4:45 in the morning and you saw what I did when I got up in the morning, that's a discipline, a set of disciplines. Then you might see it. But that's pretty rare. You're not going to see my disciplines. I'm probably not going to see yours very often unless I'm up close with you all the time. Right below the disciplines are our habits. And probably not going to see my habits. You're probably going to see, again, the result of my habits. You might, again, see a few habits, but not most of them. Now in this iceberg, under my habits are my mental models. Mental models or assumptions, we'll talk about that in another video, are the way I look at the world. It's what I think is true. It's constructs that I've built in my mind about reality and about who I am and who you are and what life is and what work is. These are called assumptions or mental models. They change, hopefully, as our life changes. Hopefully we adjust them so that they get closer and closer to reality. But when you and I think is true, and our experience of the world is a model of the world. It's not actually the world. Now that's fun for you to think about. But under that, then, are our values. So we have this observable part of us above the water. At the waterline are our disciplines. Below the waterline are our habits. Below our habits are our mental models or our assumptions about what we think is true. And clear down at the bottom of that iceberg, the biggest part, holding the whole thing up, making the whole thing buoyant, are our values. And you know this, right? If you and I were sitting here across the table, I'd ask you this question: what really, really matters to you? And it wouldn't take you very long to answer that question. You could answer quickly. And if you answered money, for example, is something that matters to you, I'd say, well, why does money matter? And you'd say, so I can be secure, for example. So then, in fact, the value is not money, it's security. Or so I can have new experiences and have adventure. That's what I use money for. That's why I want money. Okay, so then adventure is your value. Or so that I can provide for the ones that I love. So then love is the value. Okay, you see that? There are values down there, clear at the bottom of our iceberg. Now you get that model in your mind, and that's you. And that's me. And that's the people that we meet. And when we say no to someone, it is as though for a brief moment in time, we get to see the entire iceberg. It's as though a big storm hits that person, tips the iceberg up so it's all visible for a glimpse, and then it goes back down to the stasis that it was in before. When life says no to you, you get to see your own values. You get to see what really matters. When life says no to somebody that you work with or someone that matters to you in your sphere, then you get to see their values. Sometimes what we see is amazing. I know some people who are dear to me who have had massive no's in their life, massive disappointments, deep, hurtful things, and along the way, some minor things as well. And every time, the person that I see under that is a beautiful person. Once in a while, we run across people like this guy in our recruiting story, who, when we said no to him, we got to see what really mattered to him. And kind of felt like, didn't we, Donnie? We kind of felt like sort of dodged a bullet with that guy.
We definitely did.
Yep, it's a pretty big deal. So the basic idea behind this is we don't have to go out and create these no's in order to see people or to see ourselves. Don't do that. That's somewhere between manipulative and cruel. Don't ever do that. But just pay attention to those no's that happen with your team, with people you love and care about, with people you're working and striving to create something really valuable, something really important. Pay close attention when they get a no. You get to see who they are. And you get to see if they like what they see. Do they like what they see when no hits them? Do you like what you see when no hits you? And let me tell you, if you are somebody who right now is in the middle of one of those great big slaps, one of those great big no's, maybe you're sitting back, squinting your eyes, maybe you're feeling a little quivery in your upper lip even as I talk about this, because maybe you are experiencing something really, really disappointing. Do you like what you see about yourself in the middle of this no? If not, change it. Don't let this no, this disappointment go by without squeezing every little bit of value out of it that you possibly can. That's what makes for a really humble leader. Leaders who, in the face of no, maybe not just no, but maybe hell no, maybe they're in the face of that big of a no, they're still able to stay on track. They're still able to be these wonderful people, and that's probably you. On a lighter note, just notice people around you. Jay, it's kind of fun, actually, if you don't get quite so deep about it like this. On a lighter note, it's a little bit fun to kind of look around and watch how people react if the answer is no. Just watch how they react, because there's a lot of little no's that happen every single day. Nope, you can't have that parking space. Nope, you can't have this, or nope, we're out of that, or nope, sorry, what you ordered isn't going to arrive today on time. Just notice it in yourself and in other people, because it's just one of those little storms that helps you see what's right under the surface. Take advantage of it. It's incredibly valuable. Don't create it. Just notice it when it actually happens. Hey, I appreciate you taking time to spend time with us here at the HILT Academy, and thank you very much. If this was valuable to you, why not whip down there at the bottom and hit that like button, and then move over, hit the subscribe button if you want more of this, and if you want to know when more stuff comes out, hit the bell. We appreciate it. Take care. Here's to you.